Welcome back to Algebra 1, Chapter 9, Section 3 in this book. And we have been talking about quadratic equations. And quadratic equations have a squared variable in it, like x squared or y squared. Any variable squared makes it quadratic. And what we're going to be talking about is what does the graph look like. So on your calculator, I want you to go to the y equals button up here, turn it on, clear out anything in there, and you can use the clear button to do that in your arrows. And then I want you to put x and then use the squared button to make it x squared and hit graph. And you should be able to see the shape is that, a big U, is called a parabola. And it's a very important shape. This is real important. It's used in science for all kinds of things. Very important practical shape. So now, the old-fashioned way that we used to graph this is you say, what if? If x is 0, 0 squared is 0, y is 0, put a dot. If x is 1, 1 squared is 1, put a dot at 1, 1. If x is negative 1, negative 1 squared, negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1, put a dot. Then try 2. 2 squared is 4, put a dot. Negative 2 squared is 4. I put negative. Put a dot. And then you connect the dots and you make your parabola. So here's another one. Now, sometimes it's just an x squared, but sometimes it has also an x and a bare number. One or the other or both. We can graph these this old-fashioned way also. If x is 0, 0 squared is 0, minus 2 times 0 is 0, y is negative 3. So if x is 0, y is negative 3, put a dot. Then try 1. 1 squared is 1. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. So 1 minus 2 minus 3 is negative 4. So if x is 1, y is negative 4. Put a dot. Then do another one. You could try, well, what about if x is 2? You get negative 3. What if x is 1? You get 0. What if x is 3? You get 0. And then you connect those dots and you make your parabola. But now, how we do these now is with our calculator. We go to y equals and we put it in exactly. X squared minus net 2x minus 3, hit graph, and that'll show up on our calculator. Then, okay, the very bottom of the U, the valley right here, is called the vertex. Your calculator will give it to you. They call it the max or the minimum. This would be a minimum because it's a valley. This is also a minimum because it's a valley. We're going to do one over here that's a hill. It would be a maximum. But the very bottom part or the very top part is called the vertex. If it's a U, it's a minimum. If it's a hill, it's a maximum, and your calculator will tell this to you. There's going to be a different video where I show you how to get your calculator to do it for you. You need to get your calculator to do these. This 2020, embrace the calculator. Okay, so now, the coefficient that goes with the x squared is the leading coefficient. It's called the a term. The coefficient that goes with the x with no exponents is called the b term, and the bare number is called the c term. If you look at the a term, if it is positive, like that's a 1, it makes a u, and the parabola's ends go up. If it's negative, then it makes a mountain and the u's go down. So here I've got a parabola that looks pretty terrible, but that's what it looks like if we graph this one. We would do it by saying if x is 0, y is 2. And then this has a weird vertex. It's at negative 1/4, 2 1/8. But we could get that with our calculator looking for a maximum, knowing it's a hill because that's negative. And this is the way we used to do it back in the 80s. We had a formula for vertex. X of vertex is negative b over 2a. So our b is -1, so we do -1 times 2 times a, which is -2. 2 negatives make a positive, 1 negative makes a negative. So I knew our x was 1/4. Then you plug it into the equation to get y, and you can get the vertex. So much easier to put this in your calculator, ask it for the max, and it'll tell you the vertex. Embrace 2020. We got to do it. So how you would do it is you would do graph, you hit second trace, you pick max, and then you can get your points for your if-then chart by going back to graph, hitting trace, not second trace, but trace, and then you put different numbers in, like 0, and it'll tell you what y is. Put -1, it tells you what y is. 1, it puts y in. You get your points, and then you can make your graph. Now, on a test, don't skip the step of making your if-then chart. If you just look at your calculator and go, looks like that, with no points and no arrowheads, you are not getting full credit for your graph. I want points and arrowheads. Your graph on your calculator looks like this. And if you just write that down, I know you used your calculator to cheat beyond what you're supposed to because you didn't make your if-then chart. When you go to college, I want you to use your calculator. I want you to do step 1, put it in, graph it on your calculator. Step 2, use your calculator to make your if-then chart. Step 3, plot your points, connect them, then you're done. Not just putting a little swoosh on your paper. You can tell that this has happened in the past, and it irritates me because you're so close. Once you got the swoosh, it's so easy to get the points and get it right. So I want you to get it right. All right? Math is great. See you next time.